and Electrophysiological Endophenotype in OCD. Myself, the presenting author, Dr. Roshan Khanande. The other authors are Professor S.F. Nizami, Professor of Psychiatry, Associate Professor Dr. B. Das, at Central Institute of Psychiatry, Kake, Ranchi. First of all, the question, what is evoked response potentials? So ERP are the small waves generated in the brain structures in response to a specific event or stimuli. So the ERP waveforms are described and named in terms of positive, taken as P, and negative, taken as N. Peaks, those are amplitudes, and elapsed time after the stimulus they appear. That is the latency. So coming to the ERP waveforms, that would mean the P50 and P200 are the positive waves appearing 50 milliseconds and 200 milliseconds post-stimulus respectively. And that would also mean that N400 would be the negative wave appearing 400 milliseconds post-stimulus. This is the pictorial representation of P300 wave appearing nearly 250 milliseconds post-stimulus, which is represented by the vertical blue line. Now what is P300? P300 is a wave appearing nearly 250 milliseconds to 400 milliseconds post-stimulus. Its latency represents the processing speed and the amplitude represents the level of concentration of an individual. Now that would mean higher concentration would lead to greater amplitudes and better processing speed would lead to shorter latencies of P300 wave. OCD and cognitive dysfunctions. As we know, neurophysiology behind the symptomology, neurocognitive findings can be explained on the basis of lateral orbitofrontal loop dysfunction in OCD, which also means deficits in cognitive functions such as set shifting, response inhibition, memory, and planning can be explained on the basis of lateral orbitofrontal loop dysfunction. Impaired concentration and impaired response inhibition are known cognitive dysfunction in OCD. Together, they lead to increased processing speed, which would also mean it would lead to shorter P300 latencies in electrophysiology. Now, increased processing speed can be reflected as P300 abnormalities. And as we know, increased processing speed is known endophenotype in OCD. Can P300 be an endophenotype for OCD? Now, coming to the question of concept of endophenotype. It is an attribute which can be neurophysiological, biochemical, endocrinological, neuroanatomical, cognitive, or neurophysiological, associated with illness, is heritable. These are non-state dependent, found in non-affected individuals, relatives of the patients with the disorders, occurs often in families of the affected individual than normal individuals. These are closer to the underlying neuropathology than top-level symptoms and clinical phenotypes as we see in various psychiatric disorders. Now, all these criteria are met by P300 waveforms. As we know, studies have shown cognitive deficits in OCD. Also, shorter P300 latencies and smaller P300 amplitudes have also been shown by various studies in OCD patients. Together to that, the researchers in first-degree relatives have also shown cognitive deficits similar to the patients with OCD, but the studies in the area of studying electrophysiology, especially P300, are lacking till date. Now, rationale to study endophenotype, especially P300, what we are studying in OCD. So, genetic causes for OCD haven't yet provided definite answers. Multiple genes have been implicated, but because of that, the causation of the OCD have become more obscure than ever. The number of genes representing endophenotype are definitely less than the number of genes representing complex behavioral syndromes. Aims and objectives of the studies: to investigate P300 in patients with OCD, their first-degree relatives, and compare it with matched normal controls. Coming to the methodology part, the study has been conducted at K.S. Mani Center for Cognitive Neurosciences, Central Institute of Psychiatry, Ranchi, and was passed through ethical committee of the institute. The sample size was of 60. The 20 patients with the OCD, 20 first-degree relatives of the patients with OCD, and 20 matched normal controls to the patients, respectively. Coming to the procedure, individuals satisfying ICD-10 DCR criteria, aged between 18 to 50, were recruited for the study. Patients with comorbid psychiatric disorder except mild depression were excluded. None of the patients received ECD. Individuals with any substance use except nicotine and caffeine, and individuals with significant neurological and medical illnesses were ruled out. Patients with OCD were assessed on Vibox, HAM-A and HAM-D. First degree relatives and normal controls were assessed on GHQ-12. Coming to the most important part, that is P300 recording. The ARP recording of all the subjects was done using 40-channel evoked potential recording system with the classical auditory oddball paradigm. In the auditory oddball paradigm, two different auditory stimuli were presented in a series such that one of them appears relatively infrequently. That is we call that oddball. Subjects were instructed to respond to the infrequent stimuli, oddball. The push button time for the responding to the infrequent stimuli ranged from 100 millisecond to 1000 millisecond post stimulus. This is how, after recording, the EEG is subjected to artifact rejection, following which the data is back averaged by ARP system. Then the back average data is manually marked for the P300 waves. Now coming to the statistical analysis, done using statistical package for social sciences, SPSS 16, for categorical variables, chi-square test, and for continuous demographic variables, one-way ANOVA was used. Bonferroni was used as post hoc test wherever data was found to be significant. Now coming to the results. This table shows the comparison of socio-demographic profile between the three groups. The table shows there was significant difference for sex and occupation between the three groups. There was no difference found for the age and education between the three groups. This table represents the scores obtained on various scales applied on the patients, such as Vibox for obsessions, compulsion and total score, HAM-A and HAM-D. Now coming to the P300 variables such as latency and amplitude for the left, center and right, left, right and center leads. First of all, coming to the P300 latency in left hemisphere leads. Table shows there was significant difference for the P300 latencies between the three groups. The post hoc analysis shows for all the electrode sites, the amplitude, the latency for patients and FDRs was significantly shorter than the controls. Similarly, in the right hemisphere and the central, the leads in the central region showed the similar region, which also reflected in post hoc Bonferroni, that the latencies for patients and FDRs was significantly shorter than controls. Now coming to the P300 amplitude in auditory oddball paradigm in left hemisphere leads. In this table, the left hemisphere leads F7 and TP7 showed significant difference between the three groups, which is reflected in post hoc analysis as the amplitude for the P300 wave for the controls was significantly greater than patients and first degree relatives. And similar findings has been found in the central leads, typically CPZ, representing the same. The amplitude of the controls for the controls at CPZ was significantly higher as compared to patients and controls. Now coming to the discussion part, the methodological plus points of the study. The study subjects included first degree relatives of the OCD patients, which were never recruited prior to this study in an electrophysiological study. We were looking for P300 in that study. Drug-naive or at least 2-week drug-free patients were included in the study to negate the effects of drugs on P300, which has been reported in various literature. Exclusion of moderate to severe depression and other anxiety disorders provided OCD-specific P300 wave changes, and recording for 40 electrode sites, taking 60 samples and especially taking first degree relatives in account was unique for our study. Discussion continues. The P300 latencies for the patients and first degree relatives was found to be significantly shorter than controls. This finding speaks volumes about probable increased processing speed in patients and first degree relatives as compared to the controls. Study also showed significantly smaller P300 amplitudes for patients and first degree relatives as compared to the controls over left fronto-temporoparietal region and central region, which can be explained on the basis of impaired inhibitory control leading to the lapses in concentration, which is reflected as smaller P300 amplitudes of the P300 waveforms in patients and first degree relatives. Coming to the conclusion part, the present study proposes shorter P300 latency over all the scarp regions and reduced P300 amplitude in left temporoparietal, fronto-temporoparietal region and central region as potential electrophysiological endophenotype in OCD. The study had some limitations, such as smoking and caffeine was not controlled in the subject groups. An unequal distribution of the gender among the subjects might have affected the findings of the study. Thank you.
Thank you, Roshan, for completing in time. Now the paper is open for discussion and question. No comments.
Dr. G.V. Ramanrao, Bhimavara.
Yes, sir.
Is that drug-free interval of 2 weeks is sufficient? Because most of the people are kept on SSRIs, especially fluoxetine,
Yes, sir.
which is supposed to be very, very long acting.
Actually, the maximum effect of fluoxetine lasts nearly for, according to the literature, up to the 2 weeks. So we took 2 weeks as the period for a drug-free period.
Thank you. Just want to ask you, you've done a very complex study, especially something which I do not know very much about, P300. But I do know something about neuropsychological testing, and I just want to ask you whether any liaison has been done between the work that you have done and what is upcoming field or already well established field of neuropsychological testing for concentration.
Actually, sir, the literature till date, they have done the cognitive testing, especially taking first degree relative into account. But study taking first degree relative into account, further evaluating the cognitive functions and electrophysiology together, they lack actually. So the study that is the probably the future in store for all this research.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Girish from Ahmedabad. I have a question. That P300 is a potential endophenotype for not just OCD as your study suggests, but also other studies have suggested it for most of the other psychiatric illnesses, especially schizophrenia and bipolarity. So what is the specificity of it, and what is the rationale of measuring it if it is not specific for any one particular psychiatric illness and it is positive across the first degree relatives of all major psychiatric illnesses?
Probably that is why we research, actually. I think research are needed, and probably we hope we would find something for OCD, and I think the gates are open for the future research with that.
I think what the gentleman in front asked was something that I was also wanting to ask. The question is shared.
Thank you, sir.
Any question? Okay, then we end the session. Okay.